Sanibonani guys, welcome back to yet another video. So guys, it is the morning after Unandipa and her family kicked out Uzole and his family like dogs. And listen, Unandipa says that she feels so relieved this morning now that Uzole and his family are out of her house. Listen, she says the house is so peaceful. Hike her twin flame. Iwele like her father. Guys, Unandipa is her father's child. She is her father's child. There is no denying it. There's a time that Unandipa actually posted a TikTok and she said that she grew up being told that and I'm like, listen, they did not lie, because her father is busy saying to Unandipa, listen, I understand why you were acting the way you were acting to Uzole and his family. He says, guys, the reason why he understands is because he got a prophecy, and that prophecy was saying that Unandipa, over the years, she would become enemies, or her in-laws will become enemies. One thing about half-baked prophecies, guys, why did Umshashubi or whoever gave that prophecy, why did they not give the cause of why Unandipa would not get along with her in-laws? Because clearly the reason why Unandipa doesn't get along with her in-laws is because both her and her husband left boundaries. The way they just cockle their endabas with their parents or with their families, and then they turn around like Unandipa. She tells her family everything. And then there was a part in the episode where she turns around and tells her father that you are too involved in our business. I'm like, ma'am, you involve your family in your business. But guys, the father says that Uzole got money of about 180,000 rands, which is from the insurance policy. Apparently, Unandi, when she's explaining the story, is that when they were still staying in Linyase Mission, I think it's called the houses Zase Mission, guys. But anyway, the church house that they got, they experienced a robbery, and then the house was insured. So when they were claiming the things that got stolen in the house, it amounted to around 180,000 rands. But to Uzole, guys, the money got paid out to him, and he drank that money. He was making Unandipa and the kids starve. Now, when I heard that story, I was like, oh, please stop lying. But I saw Unandipa crying. I'm like, and them? And I waited throughout the whole episode to hear Uzole explaining that in Daba, 180,000, what happened with it. He didn't really explain it. Now it's making me suspicious. Yoguti, Zole, did you really drink 180,000 rands? I know that he loves his kids, and I don't think he's that irresponsible to that extent that he will go and drink all of the money. He says, guys, that he was sending money to Unandipa and he was financially supporting them. The only problem that Unandipa has is that he was not around. He was not in her presence where she could control how the money was being used. It seems like both Unandipa and Rev, when they get money, ingati they get too excited. Guys, when you have 6, 7 kids, when you get money, you can't get excited because that's not your money. I mean, save up for these kids or something like that. Unandipa naye, I feel like she is in no position to even want to charge Uref, because naye, when she gets money, she's spending it on impahla, designer clothes. Sometimes I just feel like Unandipa, guys, has not accepted that uzchatele umfundisi. Guys, when you marry umfundisi, your lifestyle is not going to be like the Instagram influencer hands. It's not the same. But then again, Urev is the head of the home, guys. And as the head of the home, we are expecting to see some sort of example of leadership. So you know what? In this case, no, Unandipa should judge Urev because there's more that's required of him as the leader of the home. Now, this morning when Unandipa speaking to her parents about, it's a peaceful morning, the father Unandipa initially says that he wants to have a meeting with Uzole and his family. And I'm thinking to myself, Njani, how do you call back the same people that you chased out of the house in Anjalo? But anyway, Umantombi's name comes up. And listen, I would like to know, what did Umantombi do engaka? Because I mean, did Uzole not say that his father-in-law, which is Unandipa's father, pulled out a knife on him? He hit his kids, abantwana. So yena, he's allowed to be in the house anytime. Umantombi yintoni lena engaka that she did, that yena, she's not welcome around the grandchildren and all of that. Haike, later that same day, Uzole comes back to the house by himself. Now the show did write on the screen that Umantombi and Uzole's cousin decided not to continue with the experiment. I'm not so sure why. But when Uzole comes into the house, all of a sudden, Unandipa's father concluded that because Umantombi is going to be the one who's representing Uzole's family, then what's the point of having a meeting? All of a sudden now when Uzole comes back, now they want to have a meeting. I just kind of felt like that is so unfair. So Ulokuzano Nandipa is there. She is sitting, guys, a victim. She's basically starting the child. Nandi's mother and father is there. Uzole is one man with zero family to back him up. Hike as a father-in-law is insisting that, listen, they're going to talk about this. He's busy saying to Uzole, no, you've been abusing my daughter. 180,000. Uzole wanti heard that 180,000 guys wavelo apambana. What you whoa? Wait a minute. Okopala tata ungenaphi in my family affairs. This is my household. I am the head of this household. And you know what? I agree with Uzole, but things do get a little intense where Uzole then says, ha, and then the father-in-law gets crazy. You know what Unandipa says to the father-in-law? Don't even, something along the lines of, don't get worked up over this useless man. Guys, hey, Uzole shouldn't even get mad at his father-in-law for overstepping because the person who made the father-in-law overstep was Nandi. So Nandi is the only person who can put her father in place. Hi, the next morning, guys, Uzole exen uchayili bala. Nandi comes there in her gown, all glammed up. I'm just like, and then the gender roles have, I don't know, why is he sweeping the yard? Why is Nandi not doing that? Anyway, Nandi comes. I didn't even hear a I'm sorry coming from Nandi. Correct me, guys, but I didn't hear Nandi say I'm sorry. She just said that, listen, she's tired of fighting. And she says to Uzole, I think we can both admit that we've hurt one another. So let's just call this a truce. Excuse me? And Uzole then says, yeah, I'm also tired of fighting, and moves on Jeganjalo. At that point, I'm just like, no, I'm done feeling sorry for this man. You are the person that enabled Unandipa to speak to you like that. What do you mean umuntu just comes avugeksen and just says, let's call it a truce? And when are you just willing to move on Jeganjalo? He didn't even say, okay, Nandi, for now, because I don't want to get worked up over Lendaba Exeni, I'm willing to, I'm willing to put it behind us, but we still need to speak about ingxaki zethu. And maybe that's the reason why this couple, they're still together, but it seems like they hate one another. Because when they feel like they're tired of fighting, they just call it a truce. Calling things a truce, guys, doesn't mean it's erasing the existing problems. They still need to talk, sit down, address the issues like the disrespect that's going on in this marriage. Haike Unandi, she wants, Uzole says, okay, fine, I'm accepting the truce. I want us to move on. Hayu Geli goes and speak about the church matters. Pelunandi is only thinking about money, and I get maybe she's frustrated. She asks him about Indaba Yesonto. Guys, Urev reveals that he is not willing to part ways Nesonto like. And I feel like I want to judge him because I'm like, what more do you want these people to say to you or to do? Because their hands, even as the church, is tied. Your wife is going to continuously, or she's going to continue behaving the way she's going to behave. So what's What's going to change that's going to make the church take back uzole? And at the same time, I'm empathetic towards him because starting a church is not something that he's called for, as he said. But Unandi is not understanding that. Unandi just believes that, listen, Uzole is loved by people. He is known by people. He must just start a church and it's going to go on when. Unandi is going to get a shock of her life. If she thinks this situation that they are in right now is worse, no, it's not. Having a standalone church, aibo uzoba foster abazalwane babanikele. At least in those other churches where it's a Methodist, when a system, guys, you're forced to take out imali zabo, or else angeke bakungcwabe. They're a standalone church. What is obliging people to take out their tithes and to commit? Hi, next scene we saw Uzone. He is cooking in the kitchen for his family and he calls Unandi to the kitchen. He calls her Boo. Hi, Ubu angasabeli. Nandi, Unandi comes in there, always looking cute, guys. He then addresses Bar, you sent me a screenshot that, listen, you got money. Next thing I'm seeing pictures that you bought designer clothes. When and your kids, you're looking dapper. What about me? Mnandili paranje. Ahlebu Nandi. And listen, guys, Urev is spitting facts. Unandi nabantana bakhe, listen, they are matching the Santan lifestyle. They're looking all cute. Urev, yena, he still looks like he's staying in that back room, guys. It's sad. And you can see that for real, guys, Unandi has checked out. For the fact that she doesn't even care about Lento Tinglibani. Knowing very well that most wives, guys, you know that your husband represents you and you represent your husband. So the fact that she doesn't care that her husband looks like that, he's seen repeating clothes over and over, looking like a para, just shows the witty she's checked out of this marriage. She even says to her husband, listen, I am not your mother. If you want to buy clothes, go buy clothes. I don't know, guy, is that revenge for him spending the 180,000 rands or what's going on? But guys, Lucy's like it's heartbreaking. Last scene, Uref decides to be the bigger person and says, you know what? I'm taking my father-in-law out so that we can speak. Waste of time, guys, because Unandi's father reveals that, listen, he is an ex-convict. Uvele jail yena, guys. And as guys, if you're coming from jail, it means you can speak to people anyhow. He has that mentality, maybe in jail here, he was a gangster or whatnot. Now everyone Listen, some people do say, guys, jail can mess up your mind. And he says that jail did mess up his mind for a fact that he was serving a sentence, guys, 5 years, that he knew nothing about or he was innocent. The person that I feel sorry for, guys, is that wife. Because Unandi keeps saying that, listen, my parents' marriage is not perfect and whatnot. And I thought to myself, if this man can take out a knife for Uzole as Nungele Dangava, because guys, Uzole has he has these things, ne? But I don't think he's worthy of being pulled a knife on. I'm even thinking, could it be that Unandi's father was boxing his wives in the past or something like that? Because, hi man, there's just controlling vibes that you can sense. I myself from the screen while watching, I'm afraid of this man. You can see, but he's those types that don't get him mad because he's not afraid to go all crazy on you. With that mentality about to I don't mind going back. Anyway, guys, let's pause it right there. It seems like next week's episode, Unandi's on a mission of I'm willing to fix things. Guys, there's just something that just feels so inauthentic about Unandi suddenly wanting to fix things. Even just the way she woke up in the morning, like what was the sudden change of heart for her to want to fix things? Maybe she could have spoken us through that. I don't know. Unandi, listen, we've known her from pastors' wives. We've known her from TikTok and Facebook, her being rude to people. Or maybe should I say giving back the energy that some people give to her. I feel like this reality show maybe she could have, I don't know, guys, maybe she could have taken another angle to reintroduce herself and her family. Maybe Urev would have gotten back his job by now. But hi, Ugel is out there to prove that, listen, I am worse than what you guys thought of me. Anyway, let's pause it right there. You tell me your thoughts on this. Please do make sure you like the video. Please do subscribe. It is absolutely for free of charge, and I'll see you guys in the next one.